assert that I was signed in properly or not.
Yeah, it's a very good habit. You know, I was so in a rush to go through all the steps, and actually assertion I didn't do assertion till end of my test.
Yes, which is kind of a mistake. Every time I kind of, advised everyone to, do assert. I kind of was pushing towards this idea that we should be asserting. I mean, just running it, it's a half of the test. I mean, if we're not able to, make sure that what we're doing is what's supposed to be done. What we want to do is it is actually happening. We can't be certain if if the tests are running okay or not. I mean, we can be clicking on something. If our web driver would be able to find an element, it would not throw us an exception, but it's not necessary that it's actually clicking on the right link that we're expecting it to. So, I
No,
mean,
that's true. That's absolutely true. But my question is connected to the this return page. So, for example, we log in, right? We
yes,
we create steps to like put your username. We create step to password, blah blah blah, and we click login, right?
yes.
And we return the page. So we return the same page, and we return the next page. How it works?
So once we do the sign in, then we return the next page actually, because the sign in page is usually different from the next page. So it's not like, I mean, there are different, again, it really depends on the kind of web app you're dealing with. Sometimes sign in, it's a small box is just gonna open up within the same window. And a lot of times, I mean, it doesn't stay on the same page after you log in. It usually would take you to or reload the same page again after logging you in. So it actually is logging, you will be returning a new page anyways for the most part.
So
Yeah.
hold on. Let me ask you a question. Definitely, most of us choose the big websites. It was a mistake from the very beginning. You know, it was very complicated, and usually we landing at the SSL page, right? So it's a new
Yeah.
page, right? So for example, if we create the class, like login class, right?
Yeah.
We create a method which will be under this so public like login class, and the method will be whatever login, right?
Yeah.
So in the end of this method, we do return the page, and we name it like login page, or we name it my account page. You know what I mean?
Okay, so again, it really depends on how you've designed your framework. For me, what I've done is I'm actually, trying to get the accounts tab, which is, um, I can
You trying
show.
to get what?
Let me show it to you what I'm actually trying to do. So when I go onto Facebook, I have to, sign in, and it takes me to this page. Well, after
Mhm.
signing in, I want to grab this from this menu bar on the top. I want to grab one of the icons, one of the button, and I want to click on this, which is this one.
Mhm.
After clicking on this button, I want to grab a couple of links. Now I noticed that a few links on the top is different for everyone. So what I decided was to go for the links from the end. So I'm grabbing from the last these few links. Let's say from here onwards. So now what I want to do is I want to be able to get to this point, and then I want to start my test because I'm testing this entire menu. Now in this menu, I have to test this link, I have to test this link, then I have to test this link and all of these links, right? But if in every test, I have to log in, I have to go to this page, I have to, grab this and then click on this button and get one of these. So what I did was I created a method in which it's taking care of everything and returning me with a class of this menu. That's how I kind of handle it. So this is me creating a new driver because driver is needed. This is what Une you were the issue that you were facing is this one. When you're passing the driver is kind of null. For this, the I mean the method that I am using, the me and Isran is we're using, it's kind of difficult to grasp. But if you can get a hang of this, this is really good. You
Is it driver factory?
Yes, driver factory. This is what we're using. So using this, we create a new driver every time. And what I'm doing here is, so before me getting into the test, actual test, so I in the test body, in the test class, basically I'm creating a new method, which is of type UI account menu type, and this is get account menu. So basically, I'm expecting to return this thing. But within the method, what I'll do is I'll sign in, and my sign in method requires a driver. This
Hold,
is how I've designed it.
please slow down. When you create this UI, your account menu tab, right?
Yes.
Is it this kind of method should have
This is
the
what the return is. It's expecting of something return of this thing of something like this. So if you were to create a public string, whatever this is, then it's expecting you to return a string. So if you're creating a Boolean type method, it's expecting you to create return a Boolean instead of this. So but the type of method that I'm creating is of this method of this class type. So it's expecting me to return a class.
Oh, okay. So it should. I thought it's supposed to have the same name as the class we're creating in.
Not the name, but the type. I can show you a couple of methods in the common API in which we are returning something. Let's see, public driver, so web driver type. So this is actually expecting us to return a driver of a web driver,
Okay.
right? So this is where we're returning driver. So instead, if I were to return a string, it would give me an error that this is not expected. Expected is a web driver type. So maybe let me see if I have somewhere. So in this one, this is of type list, right? Of string type. So whatever I will be doing in this method, the end goal is to return something that is of this thing, of list, of type string. So this is where I'm doing. This is when I'm returning the text, this text inside the method, I'm actually creating this list, and I'm at the end returning this. So when I will be calling this method, at the end, I would have access to whatever is returned over here. But if I were to say void over here, that in that case, I'm not expecting anything at the end.
So basically, we're returning the future page, not existing page where we log in, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So over here, where I am actually, returning this page, but in between, when I'm calling the method, I'm also, inside the method, I am doing the sign in. Sign in is actually, grabbing another page as well, doing a page factory over here. Inside that method, I have, I'm taking care of the page factory and, my username and my password. And then over here, you see a search successful login. And this is another, method that I'm calling, which is going to make sure that I have landed on the correct page or not. So this is how, when I do this, and then after signing in, I do a page factory initialization of another class. And from within that class, what I want to do is I want to grab UI menu bar and then get your account menu tab. So I'm initializing UI menu bar, which is the top bar. That bar has a lot of other things, but from that class, from within that class, this is what I want, get your menu tab. And after I get there here, which means all of this has been performed. So I've signed in, I've grabbed the elements on this one, and out of all those elements, I have clicked on this one. And this has been done using this method. So get your account tab. So this is where I'm doing it. So I'm clicking on the 8th element, and I'm returning account menu tab dot class, which I'm not using in this case. I'm kind of stopping it right there. But if I were to do something, I would have access to all the methods that are inside the account menu tab. But I'm not doing that over here. And rather, I'm just returning this thing over here. So that when I do the get account menu tab, when I call this method, all these actions would be performed, and I would have access to all the methods that are inside this class. So from within that, I can I can do get
Uh,
page. I can call this method, and every class has a method inside it, which is asserting based on how I'm asserting every class. After landing on that, that's different. So somewhere
so
I'm
one more time, 130. How are you getting two methods from this class?
which one? This one and this one. These two methods.
Yeah.
So basically this method, when I'm calling this method, this one over here, it's actually this method, right? This
Mm-hmm.
one. So this method is performing a few tasks, few actions. It performs few actions and eventually it returns this thing. This thing is making available whatever is inside, I mean all of these. So I'm getting access to all the all the methods inside the UI your account menu tab dot class, because this is what I'm initializing and I am returning it. A bit complicated.
Mm-hmm.
It could be. This again, I got to this point after, writing my simple test, and then eventually I found out that I could be, using a lot less lines. So I kind of started shortening my, my methods. So rather than me, doing a page factory initialization inside another variable and returning that, I'm just, returning this
Eventually.
directly. So this you would kind of understand this more clearly with with practice. You kind of have to practice a lot.
Yeah, the thing is, I was returning the same page where log was logged in, but somehow it worked out. I have no idea how.
But yeah, I mean, if you understand how this is done, you see how your actual tests, they're just this simple. So you're not only grabbing this, you're doing whatever is inside this method and getting all access to all these. So account menu tab, account menu, get your account menu is the same. But
And it's the
inside
same
it,
class, right? It's the same. It's a method from the same class.
same class, this one over here.
Okay.
Hey Bilal, the one
Yes.
that you highlighted, that's the driver that I need to log in, to post a status.
Uh,
Lines
yes and
22
no.
through 26. Is that the code that I need for
Not
another class?
necessarily. Not necessarily. This is how I am doing it. You could be doing it some other way as well.
Okay,
But
so
the thing is that you need to make sure that the driver that you're passing is not null.
okay, so how do I prevent the null, not having the null?
You can design your, classes and your tests in a way that when you are extending from one class to the other one, the link doesn't get broken. Either that, or if it gets too much complicated, then this is the way to go about it using the driver factory. So this is
Driver
how,
fact.
yeah. So this is how like me and Isran came up with this idea to
Oh,
keep on initializing the driver. So whenever we need a driver, we initialize another copy of it. So over here we're creating another from this type of object we're creating a web driver, but what the value it holds is coming from here. So driver factory dot get instance dot get driver. We're getting this from um, over here. So this is my entire class for driver factory in which we are, create every time we need a new driver, we just, end up creating a new driver.
oh, you created the driver factory class yourself,
Yes,
or is that okay? Okay, and then this is you already pushed this in your GitHub, right?
I did.
Okay.
Okay.
Driver factory sits where?
Driver factory is under utilities. For us,
Is that what utility is? It holds your driver factory class
driver
and like your
factory is basically, just like page factory, but for drivers. So
okay.
it's a repository of drivers, and every instance has a thread ID. It's basically you technically it would be called thread safer way of calling the driver. So thread safe means that it would not have it wouldn't conflict with other threads. Meaning, I mean, if there are two instances of tests running at the same time, so they're running on two different threads. So one web driver cannot be used for two threads. So for that, you need to have two threads of drivers. Same driver, two instances of it. So you make a copy of it, kind of, and you assign it to the first thread, and you assign the other copy to the second thread. So this is what actually is happening over here. So we get the instance, and it returns us the instance. Instance is new driver factory. So basically, it tells us, okay, so this is the new instance of the driver. So within that, we after that we call another. So we basically over here we're returning the same class, the same thing. So we're creating a new static. driver factory object of name with the name of instance, which is new driver factory. And when we get the get instance, it returns us with this thing, new driver factory of this class, the entire new class. And from within this class, then what we do is we get the driver. Which is the driver? Driver is from within this. So now this is the new. When we say get instance, we create a new object, new copy of this entire class, and from within that we do the driving. We get the driver. This, which is this one. A bit complicated to understand, but I mean, if you go through the code, I don't think it's very difficult. I myself, this is me, trying to, make change. I downloaded it from somewhere that was very basic, just a few lines, just the logic. So I understood the logic, and then I implemented my own driver inside it. Me and Izran Bhai. So we both of us kind of worked on this thing.
Oh, okay. So you created this driver factory.
Basically, yes.
Okay.
So this helps us avoid the null, pointer exception, and also we are able to run our tests in parallel. So we can, run up to 4, 6, 8, and no matter how many tests at the same time you want to run, we can run it using this. So I mean, it's not like we're grabbing elements on Best Buy's menu, but on the other test, if we're trying to sign into Facebook, they would not be, conflicting with each other.
Okay.
They would remain separate. And at the same time, when we need a driver, we initialize a new copy of it, and we pass the driver whenever it's needed for us.
Okay, Bilal, could you jump on my computer, please? I mean, maybe can we switch?
Yeah.
I need your advice how to deal with this situation, because it looks like I have to rename many things.
The one that you're talking from?
I will raise a hand. Okay, which one you see now? Which screen?
Yes.
I mean, which one?
This is my code.
Really? Not anymore.
All right. So yes.
So this is my test, add to cart test, right? So I did the way you showed, I believe, a couple days ago, where you initiate drivers of each page, implement the method from each page, right? But I guess I did a mistake. For example, if I do login, I'm returning. It appears to be in the new page, but I thought I'm doing the same page. That was my question. So basically, test is running all the way up to the verification.
Okay.
And verification, I also created separate methods. I don't know why. Payment verification. So I was grabbing this web element, named it, and I was looking for if it's present, right? If it's displayed.
Okay.
So should I keep it in a separate class, or should I add it to somewhere?
No, separate is fine. Payment verification, because payment verification is kind of separate, right? You can make it part of a cart class. You can make a cart class which would contain your add to cart method, add to cart elements, the cart button. So anything related to cart, you can add there, and payment verification would be part of that as well. You can either do that, or you can keep it separate as well.
You're familiar with Best Buy, right?
Not really, but I mean, I guess.
So under user interface, it's much better to create a separate package, right? For the cart related pages.
Cart related. That's what I did for my Amazon. So my Amazon cart class basically consists of add to cart button, which actually is on the item page. I can have it on item page as well, but I kind of, created a separate class for it. It doesn't really matter. It's really up to you how you will be designing your framework. So, however you think you will be using it, or you know how to use it, you can document it. That is, that whatever the way you write it, man. That's the way.
I
So like,
understand it's up to me, but why I was asking you like a couple of days ago about structure of the framework, I was asking you advice how you actually structure this thing.
I think if the payment verification page has a lot of other, elements, which I don't think it would. I don't think you need to, kind of separate it. It doesn't have a lot of elements. You do not foresee a lot of elements to be added to that page. So to, create another class of it. So you can, make it part of the cart.
Right.
Uh, where you have the cart and the verification page, kind of as part of the same class.
So if, for example, you look at a Best Buy website, right?
Yeah.
And how would you break down this page? Use it like what kind of?
So for me, I would, create a different class for something that is gonna be on every page. For example, the global header, which is what they call it themselves as well. So that is part of, every page. This bar that your mouse is on. So this bar is page, the cart bar, the top part, basically the search and everything it is part of every page, right? So
Yeah.
you
You
so
you
you
call
can
it you call it what? Global what?
global header.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
global header is basically that is going to be on every page that you're going to be visiting because it's global, right?
Okay. Header, right?
Global
Capital.
header. Yeah. So you can create a class for global header to interact with all the elements that are part of the global header. Then you can have a global footer. If that's the case, I think that is, which would have all the elements on it. Whenever you want to interact on any page regarding to the header part, you can just call the global header. You can
Mhm.
just initialize it whenever you want. Same goes for the footer, and then you can have a page for, let's say, um, a search result page. Search result page is going to be always the same. A product page is always going to be the same. The way they're showing a product, no matter if it's a TV, if it's, it's a phone, it's designed in the same way. I mean, the elements, the data that it's showing, sometimes that could be different, but the image, product image, how you can, expand the image, how you can click on it to zoom the image, the product, there's the title of the product. So, I mean, all of those things are going to be on every page. So you can, make a product page class, something like this. So things that are, a generic kind of thing, you make a class of its own. But if things that are, different, let's say a support page, I mean, that's different from all the other pages. So you make a separate class for support page. But instead of you creating, a class for each type of product, you can just, make one product page.
Mhm. So one more time, could you like point me where how I can assort it on the end? So because when um, when I run a test, it goes all the way. Let me shut down the Firefox. Um, it goes all the way. Uh, okay, where are you? But I cannot assort the page where actually I stopped on a page where actually I have to put my credit card.
Okay. So you're adding it to cart.
I do checkout, login. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. So continue to payment information, and this is my field which I'm trying to assort, and it failed.
So what are you trying to assert over here? Or what specific thing? And what's the unable to locate element? So the element that you're trying to locate is not there.
I'm trying to assort this element.
The gift card code.
Mm-hmm.
So it says that it doesn't exist there.
It's numerous pop-ups on this website, like three different pop-ups.
Yes. You know, you want to add a warranty, you want to build something, I mean, something like that. So, I mean, yeah, I know. Even on Amazon, there are certain things for which, you know, it's going to offer you to, you know, get the warranty. So you have to, you know, I mean, there are different ways of, you know, handling that. I mean, you should be, either you can be, you know, expecting it, but I mean, you can say that if it's displayed, just, you know, ignore it. But the best way to handle it is to know in advance where you would be getting it, and you check for it. Okay, I'm getting it, so I'm getting it. Then you take care of it. Then you handle it. But you need to know in advance that it would be popping up, rather than, you know, waiting for it to and say, okay, if it pops up, then close it. No. You should be doing it in a way that if you're adding a TV, then you would know that it's going to ask me for a warranty. So if it's going to ask you for warranty, then it means that's part of your assert.
Yeah. So and when I'm on this page, I'm looking for this element, and I'm
No, this is not the right one to go for. You know what you say? You know, just go for the title and see what the title says. How would you want to pay today? Because that's the screen that you're on right now. So you get the text and you say if the text contains this, then the test would pass.
so please show me how you
How do
can
you click on how do you want to pay today?
over
That
there.
title. Yeah, this one.
Okay, so it's gonna be this
Yeah.
location.
So open up your Firepath. See what it says in Firepath, and yeah, get the XPath for it. It's not the nicest way to go about it. No, not this one. What else? Scroll down on the page.
Order summary, maybe.
Maybe, but order summary comes up on other pages too, right?
It's order summary title.
Maybe you can do that. If get text for this one and see what I mean it says, and maybe you can, you know, go for this button, place your order if this exists.
Yeah, I saw many of this stuff in a class.
No, don't go for this one because maybe it's, you know, randomly generated. Maybe not. Block BTN secondary. Yeah, you can go for this one too, actually. So if you wanna go for some, you know, if you wanna go for the technique where you're checking for something is displayed, I think you should go for this one rather than, you know, the text field.
So should I use XPath or class?
Either one is fine. And also, when you're getting to this page, I believe, you know, it kind of in between it. There are a few other pages that it, you know, redirects to, at least one. So it would go to another page and then it's gonna come to this page. If that's happening, then maybe that's another issue for you. So, I don't know how you'll be dealing with that. I haven't looked it up, but I mean, that could also be possible. That, when we're going to finalize your order in between, it's opening up another page.
Hmm.
So if that's happening, then, that's another kind of issue. But you can try it using this button, see if it works or not.
So for the XPath or for the
Either one,
code,
not this XPath. See if you can generate a relative XPath and how does that look like.
relative?
Yeah, so uncheck this one. Yeah, and then try generating this. Yeah. So no. So for the XPath, you would no, since it's still generating you try again. So it's still, an absolute. No, click, move your mouse somewhere else and then bring it back here. So it's still not the one that I'd prefer. Maybe you can, instead of ID, you just erase everything, almost everything up till ID.
This
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah, erase it and replace ID with class equals and quotation, single quote, and then you add that class name over there. Still don't kind of like it, but let's see. Yeah, paste it and close the quotation.
Single quotation?
Single quote, yeah,
Okay.
and square bracket, close, enter. Okay, so it's still grabbing that element, right? So that it's grabbing that node and only one node. It says only one matching node. So you can use this.
And it's gonna be XPath?
This is the XPath, yes.
Bilal,
Yes,
what's up, man? How you doing?
pretty good. How are you?
Good. What were you using? Did you use for Android UI automation here, or did you use the inspector?
Uh, for what?
Android.
I use Inspector Appium.
Oh, okay.
Kind of works for me. 1.6.3 is pretty stable, so it doesn't give me any issues or anything. So I didn't, go for the UI Automator. Although UI Automator seems really nice too.
Yeah, I like UI. So much more simple. Another thing, did anybody get their apps to work on their? How did they get their apps to work on their iPhones? Because I was trying to do it today. I couldn't do it because you can't find it like an app to download from.
Yeah, no.
I even downloaded an app from my phone and I use SHS to open it and it opened, but it keeps giving me error.
Yeah, it needs to be signed, digitally signed. So no. You can, if you want to go for a different, other than the UI catalog, what you can do is you can find an app that is an open source app and open it in Xcode, compile it, and then you'd be able to push it to your phone.
No, I'm just gonna stick with Android right now.
Either you can do that, and I'd still recommend you doing the whole UI catalog thing. If you're able to do the UI catalog, you'll still be dealing with a lot of web elements, and how you don't need to scroll, so you need you know how to do that. So with Android, you know how you need to scroll down and grab other elements. In iOS, you don't need to. So I'd still recommend you try to do the UI catalog, as many pages you can, as many different deal with as many elements, different types of elements in iOS and in Android, whatever app you can do.
Alright, I'm gonna take it.
Cool,
So,
thank you. I got it.
all right, so now we have another one online. Can you please raise your hand?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Yes. Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How's it going?
It's going good. How are you, Bilal?
Pretty good. So,
Oh,
oh, I do see you have a lot of, a lot of things you've done. This is your mobile? Very nice.
yeah.
You
This
have,
is, but the thing is, I I don't know if you remember when Furqan was doing the an example of UI.
Yeah.
I, I used his basic base class, the way he did it, and then his XML, and it was working fine. But when I tried putting Mafi's base class, all this in here,
Mm-hmm.
I get this error. And a few things I changed is from last class. I remember you said to just take out the right here, change this little path,
Mm-hmm.
and then I changed this right here, and then I still get this error. It just loads up to the Grubhub website, but it doesn't want to click on the login. I could run it for you if you like. You want to see?
No, I can tell. Okay, so no such element. So the element that you're trying to click, it says it's not available. So scroll down and see what line this error is coming from. Okay, so yeah, this one, line 20. Go there, click on this one. So when you try to click on login, okay, now click command, click on the purple thing, link login. Yeah, this one. So this XPath. Now, are you certain that this
Yeah,
XPath is correct? Okay.
everything works right here. I did it without using Muffy's base class and using just the bare basic, just the settings for the Android emulator, and it worked fine. Everything was working. That's how I was able to do all this UI and everything.
Okay,
But
so go back. So when you try to run the test, it opens up Android, it loads it, the app opens up and everything or not?
it opens up, just the app opens up, but then the first step is to which is to click on the link to log in. It does not do that at all, and it just errors out right here.
So are you even getting the login page or it's just, taking you directly into the, search or something like that?
No, I'm not even getting the login page. It's like that right when the app launches. That's all I get.
It doesn't make
I could
sense. I mean,
I could just let me just show you real quick.
yeah, yeah. Let's see.
Okay.
Um, I mean, it shouldn't be doing that. So I'm not saying that, I mean, it may not be happening. It should, I mean, definitely would be happening if you're saying it, but I mean, it shouldn't be because if you're able to open the app and, run the emulator, open the app, and if it's worked the other way, it should work this way as well.
I don't know if this has something to do with my parameters in my XML, like if there's something slightly off.
That
Because,
would be a different kind of exception then.
oh, okay.
I mean, if it's saying that element not found, then it means that it's not able to find the element.
Oh, okay.
So let's see. Everyone else who hasn't presented their, the web and the mobile, they're all set for tomorrow, you guys? Or not really?
Yeah, Bilal, you think Muffy would get upset if I'm barely doing the Android and you think he's gonna expect the iOS? But that's, I don't know what to feel about that.
Oh yeah, it's a good question. I mean, he's gonna be like, why would you, end up getting a Mac if you're doing this? I mean, you could have done this on your
Yeah.
Windows too,
Yeah, so right here it launches it and it's supposed to click on this right here, but it
Yeah.
doesn't want to, and then it errors out.
And did you try to see what the difference is between the two base classes?
Um, well, the ones that did work, I uploaded right here. I already uploaded it to GitHub, so just in case I wanted to go back, I had the codes. This was the basic right here without having any other parameters, just like this. And then let me see.
Let's see how he's creating the driver.
Well, this is the one, the basic one that did work actually. See, this is a basic one, something similar to what we had in for Quan's mentoring. I tried
Yeah.
this and it launched. It clicks on everything. But then since I was, planning on doing the iOS, I thought I might as well implement Mafi's base. So I did right here with all this stuff, and it doesn't work. The only thing I modified is just these two lines right here. Other than that, I didn't modify anything else.
which is fine. I mean, this part has to do with, loading up your emulator, making sure that it runs the app, and that's pretty much about it. Other than that, you scroll up. It's saying that the element not found. Why? Could not be looking on the page using the given search parameters. Given search parameters. It's very strange though. Yeah, no. Okay, this is fine. Don't worry about it. Go back. Scroll back.
So this right here says not even search. There's nothing I can modify like in the XML or to make this work, or because I had these values right here. So I don't know if it's talking about these parameters or something.
No, not this one. Okay, show me Furqan's code.
Furqan's. Oh. Where is it at? Hold on.
You know what you can do? Instead of 21, you can say 5.0.2. Let's try that.
I tried that just before, like I showed you my screen right here.
Yeah.
Still aired out.
And yeah, keep it like that. Don't worry about this. And
should I try it, launching it?
if you're saying it didn't work, then it won't work. It won't have so. Strange. I mean, you changing the base class should not affect it. As long as, again, if it was something to do with the driver and how you're creating the driver, it would not open up either the emulator or it would not, launch the app. I mean, if you're able to do those two things, then you should be. Okay. Show me your test.
A test? Just the basic login one, or?
Yeah.
These work. It worked like.
Common methods, gh dot. Okay, can you open up your common methods Grubhub? Yeah, this one. Extend space class.
I thought it was the XPath too, and instead of using these, I tried using the different ones, and it still aired out until like I tried just using my own.
Again, I mean, for different types of drivers, I mean, whatever you're using, I mean, it should not matter. Your XPath should be the same. I mean. This is really confusing why it's not doing it. I mean, it should be doing it. And you're sure you just changed that and nothing else?
Yeah, just those two. If you want, I could change those two back, and then your test will run. It would.
You know what you can do? You start off with the Furqan's class and then start adding methods to your base class rather than copy pasting the whole thing. And kind of modify it line by line how you want to create the iOS driver if that's the case.
Yeah, all I need is I don't need all the iPad and everything. I just need the iOS and I don't need the iPad and stuff.
Exactly. So you don't need
What was going on? Sorry about that. So he's trying to log in and he can't log in?
Yeah, he can't click. So he's getting
that's because Furqan has what you call parameters set in his own IntelliJ. So you gotta make sure that those parameters, he has his own parameters set up.
He's not even able to click on the link. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
That's the kind of error that he's getting.
Go on it again. Go where what class is it? Which one is it that's running the link? That's trying to click on the link.
This class.
Your test class.
My test class. Well, the thing is, it worked already. Just there's like nothing. I know nothing's wrong with the code that I did. It's just the base and then the XML. They're just these two. Because if I just change them to the ones that I had before, it passes. Everything passes.
That's another thing is that I think in the generic POM, you should try to in the source go bottom. Scroll down. Scroll down. Scroll down. All right, there's a palm right there. I think he should have his. No, he didn't add it. All right, that should just look through the palms. There might have some XML dependencies where he have put in.
I doubt it though. I mean, if he's able to launch it and if he's able to do it, I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
the only difference is the way, he's creating the driver. He's setting up variables, and then he's using them. I don't know.
All right, just listen to him now. I tried.
No, you're right. I mean, different approach. I mean, you should always explore everything. I mean, if I were, in his shoes, I'd be going through every file and trying to find out the differences. POM or whatever, man. All the files.
Yeah, man.
Alright, well,
Again, this is what I would say. I mean, Mafi Bhai is, the way he is, creating the drivers. Um, I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I'm using the same way. I had to modify that method a lot to make it work it the way I wanted to. I mean, I wanted to include the grid part. So I mean, it was kind of a hassle. So there was a point where I was like, I should just end up start it from the scratch and create my own switch statements and my own if statements, and I parameterize it a lot more, because the way he's doing it, he's pretty much hard coding it for two different apps. I
yeah.
mean, the path is there. So I mean, I ended up parameterizing it a lot, changing the name of the app, and I did a lot of changes to it. And again, there was a point where I was like, I mean, I could have just created it from scratch. I mean, the amount of changes that I'm making to it. So that's why I would recommend, you going back to how Furqan's doing, and then start adding it line by line. Add an if, parameterize it. So pass the parameters. So if it's an iOS, and if it's, the app name is blah 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 .apk, in that case, you pass the app name, rather than you saying Grubhub over there. You do something like that. I think
This is
that's
how I had it before, and I'm just saying, so like right under this, I could just add the one for iOS or something.
yeah. Just is use the parameters right before path. Pass the parameters, and you can even create two different methods. Get Android driver, if that's the case. Get iOS drivers, if that's the case. Pass the app name. Same thing we've done for web apps, getting the web driver.
Okay,
So I'd recommend you doing that. In the process, you'll end up learning a lot too.
okay,
Right?
okay.
Okay. Anyone else?
Oh, just one more question. I have, you know how he sometimes says, "Can you run the Maven test through terminal?" Which
Yes.
you just type in MVN test, right, and it runs all the tests. But what if you just want to run one test from a specific module?
Then you go in that directory. So whenever you say MVN, the MVN basically looks for a POM file, whatever directory you're inside. So if it's just gonna find the root POM, it's gonna run it's gonna run that POM file. That POM file is gonna dictate what module to run, and then the modules will dictate which POM file, and then those POM files are gonna dictate, okay, so these are the classes that or the suits the runner files that should be running. So if you are inside and your Facebook modules page in that directory, you just say MVN, and it would have the Facebook POM file, and it's just gonna run that rather than
Oh,
running anything else.
okay, understood.
Got the idea?
Yeah, I get that. So just within like the path, just go into the specific module, and then you can write MVN
Yeah.
test.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whenever you say MVN, it looks for a POM file within that directory. So you just want to make sure that you're in the directory for which the POM file, become available to MVN, and that's the one that you want to run. So if you were to run the root POM, that would mean you running all the tests. If you were to run a specific modules POM file, that would mean that it's just going to run that runner file or the runner files that you've included in that POM file.
Okay, got it.
All right?
Thanks.
No problem. Anyone else? I guess not. Okay, so let's get into logging. Um, Anyone here who doesn't know what log means? I mean, what a log file is or what logging is, how can we go about logging, or what why we would want to do it. Everyone knows, understands what logging is, why we would want to log something in a log file, in a database, or anywhere, just log. No, you guys don't know? Or you just don't want to contribute, you just want me to, explain everything. I guess that's what you guys want. Okay. So log is basically, every application that you see, I mean, whether it's a desktop application or web app, whatever kind of application it is, there's always a log file or a log that is being generated by it. Log is, different. It's like information, errors, and different, different kind of things, information that can be used to, go back and see, how the app is doing, how the app is running. Basically, pretty much, it depends on how the developer has designed it, but I mean, it is used to debug things. It's used to, find where the problems are, where the errors are, or where it's performing perfectly, if it's not performing optimally. I mean, different things. Everything for everything there's a log file. Everything logs everything. So I mean, if if something crashes on your computer, how you get send to Apple, or send report. So basically, that's asking you to send the log file that was generated during that, before that, or during the crash. So that all of those are log files. Every system, every app again maintains a log file. There are certain size to it. There's a type of log file, or the type of things that you can add to a log file. So that's what log file is. So our tests can have log file too. We can log stuff too. For example, this over here I'm creating a new instance of WebDriver. So this is me creating a log, signing into Facebook. So this is me adding an entry to the log file. Adding a new log. So in other words, like in other environment, you can see for my OS, it's maintaining a log file of its own. I mean, there are different logs that are going on. For this one, you'll see it's going to start, generating a couple of logs. There you go. That's the first one, and the 14, 24, 173. So these are all the log files that are the logs that it's creating in the background as part of one log file. So there you go, and in just a matter of seconds, it's over 3,000. It's in thousands now. It's different types of things. OS is is the biggest thing that you could be running in your hand, especially a desktop OS. There are so many processes that are going on in the background. How you're moving the mouse, to how it's connected to the network, different things. But the movement of the mouse it's not being logged. I mean, it's just moving, But if the trackpad that I'm using, or the mouse that I'm using, that hardware is to crash, then it's maintaining its own log file, kind of idea. So I mean, you can even see for a certain one, if anything's been done on the Bluetooth, or I mean, there are different kinds of log. So if that's clear, we can get into how we can start, log our, start logging our own, or start creating our own log file. One way would be to, create a file and start, using the file object. We start, exporting text to it, line by line. But that would take a lot of time, and that would be, a bit of effort on our part that we'd have to do. Create a method and everything. So, and it may not be as efficient as it can be. There are so many different programs that are available, helper libraries that are available to us, using which we can create our own log file, and the way we want to create it. For example, you see how this over here, I'm getting the date, and then I'm getting the time, and then I'm getting the type of the log that I'm creating. It could be debug, it could be a fail, it could be an error, it could be just an info. What's the name of the class? What's the line number where it's been, the log has been created, and the actual message, what the log message is. So this we can, reshape it the way we want. It's just creating a log, and it's showing us how it would be creating log. There are different ways of customizing it. But if we were to create our own method, I mean, and if you want to go to this extent, imagine how much effort we would have to put in. The different kinds of parameters it would be accepting. If we want to change the format of the date, so we go back and hard code it and we change it. The log can be there are different levels of in this one that we'll be doing today. We can even set it in a way that there's a system log, and then there's one for a user specific log, and then there's one how it's going to go in your file, the way it's going to show up here, the way it's going to be emailed. It can do a lot of things. Imagine doing all of that and creating your own. That's going to be a bit of a hassle. So we can just use Apache's log4j. It's open source, it's free, and a bit about it is that it was somewhat created in '94, I think so. Did I read it somewhere here? I don't know. I did. I think so. Well, for some, for some European thing, and then it's now part of this. So it's been ported to other languages too. They can use this log4j as well. It's responsible for as you caption logging, so you can append different different kind of information along with it. And there are different layouts that I was just explaining, that you can have the time before the date, and you can have different times type of date over here. So time, you can just change it, and I mean you can kind of customize it. So this is what this part is. So these are the three main components. So this one is responsible for logging, the main part. It's just going to be responsible for logging, and then you can append different information along with it. So over here, so you're not just logging it, you're appending different information altogether, which is a part of one log. So, and then that's the layout, so you can change the layout of it. So basically that's what it is. It's thread safe, it's optimized for speed, so these are all the things. Multiple levels are basically all the levels: the trace level, the debug, info, warning, error, and fatal. So you can just choose what level of debugging you'll be doing, and it's just going to be doing that kind of that kind of logging. So the easiest way is to, since we are all using Maven, rather than us going and grabbing the jar file, the packaged file from Apache, which is one way of doing about it. So we can just, go here on this website, like log4j on Apache, just Google it and download this, unzip it and get the jar file, and then include that as part of your, how we did it for Selenium and everything. You can either do that, or you can just add it to your POM file. What you're going to be adding to your POM file. So you will go in your POM file, and this is the dependency that you'll be adding. This is the one. So let me just share the link. That's going to be much better. So, wow, it's really slow. What do I need to put? I was looking for Maven. Log4j. Maybe I should quit this. Okay, so there you go, guys. You can grab it from here, 1.2.17, and you can add it to your code. Once you've done that in your root POM, the next step, as you all know, it's going to be part of your generic POM. So then add it to your generic POM. Like I'm doing it over here. I don't need to mention my the version number here. So go ahead and do this. Should I wait, or should I just go ahead and tell you how the rest of it's done? Okay, so you want me to go ahead, move forward with it? Right, he may ask you questions about this tomorrow. That have you attended? Why didn't you attend the session, or have you are you doing blogging? It's a May, so I hope you guys are able to do it. Anyways, so once we do this, once we kind of add the dependency, it's going to download the jar file. So once we have the jar file, then we can go ahead and use it wherever we want, however we want it. And let's see, let's try to use it somewhere, maybe over here. So how we will be going about it, we'll be creating we'll be creating an object of logger, and it's gonna be, so there are multiple choices. I mean, there are different kind of loggers available, but the one that we want to go for is this one that's been downloaded through Maven, and you can see, so it's org.apache.log for J. That's the one. So you do that, logger, and then you create a new. Basically, you say logger.getLogger, and then the name of the class, which is this one over here. So test post status. So you need to tell from which class it's coming from. The reason you need to pass the class is for it to grab the line number as well. I think so, but that's how they've designed it. And I was looking it up online, like why we need to pass the class. We just need to pass it. We can create a different method as well, so and somewhere as part of our generic, which I'll be doing right after this. But this is how you can do it: a logger.getLogger, and then you enter the name of the class, which is test your account menu dot class. And then once you've initialized it, once you've created an object, you go logger dot info. So now there are different kinds of messages that you can set. Okay, there was one more thing that we need to do. My apologies. So now we need to set it up as well. Now we've downloaded it. We need to configure it in a way that is going to be something like that. If you don't do it, it's just going to use the default setting. So how we can go ahead and do it for every we can either create it as part of a generic, or we can set it up as as part of our application, a single module. So we go ahead and we create a file, a log file. So log for j-application, you can rename it to your module name .log. So it'll know that it's creating a log file. And where's my log file? My config. Sorry, over here. So yes, I created it as part of my generic under my resources. So log for j.properties. Sorry. So we will be creating a properties file. A properties file would have all the different kinds of properties, how it is to create logs, where it will be creating it. It will be creating it as a part of file, as part of, or just be displaying it on console in the DB. It will be mailing it, however we want to do it, and this is how we will be doing it. So we go ahead and we set it up. So first of all, the root logger option, that's going to be what kind of options we want to have for our logger. So we will restrict it to info. This is the kind of messages we want to see up to info. So I mean, this is a hierarchy that I was showing you guys over here. So if we are to say debug, then it's going to include info as well. So it uses multiple levels: all, trace, debug, info, warning, error, and fatal. Now, where was that? Show it to you. So we do the configuration over here. We do the debug. I didn't do the debug because it was just giving me a lot of information which I didn't need for my, for the demonstration purposes, for the session, this mentoring session purposes. So you can. So in an ascending, there you go. So where level can be one of the following values in ascending order of severity: all, debug, info, warning, error, fatal, and off. These constants are defined in the class, this class. So we can set it in order of severity how we want to do it. So if I were to say debug, it's just going to contain information as well, or something like that. I haven't looked into it how this exactly works. Didn't have enough time, but I was able to create this file from one of these websites over here. Just copy pasted it. So there are there are multiple multiple ways of configuring your logger log4j. You can either use the program. You can set it up in your program as well, or you can set up a properties file. If you don't want to do it using this way, then you create a class inside the class. Create a method inside the method. When you are creating this logger as an object over there, you can pass a couple of arguments, a couple of you can set up a set of properties over there how you would want to do it. So you can set it to just do the info, and do this std out means do the console output, and the file means that write to file as well. So this is where we are uh, setting up its behavior, how it's going to be behaving. And then we redirect log message to console. How we will be doing it? Using this class. And what's going to be the target? Target is going to be system.out, and the layout is going to be org. This is going to be the layout class to use. And how to do it? So you add the date. Date is going to be this is the format of the date, and then this is how you will be putting the name of the class. Sorry, the name of the type of this thing, behavior. So this is the type of log, right? Which is going to be info in our case, because we're just dealing with info, and we only have info messages, so we don't have errors or anything. If we were to get any error, it would show us error as well. So, and then you say class over here, and then class, and then you have the line number, which is explaining over here, and then finally the message m and n. This is how you're displaying what the message is that we're passing. And same way you will be setting up your properties for your file, how to export it to the file. The maximum size is 5 MB. I mean, what's the location of the file, and then which class it's going to be using to create this, and the pattern is going to be what's going to be the pattern for the class. In our case, it's the same. What we can we can change it, that on the when it's displaying it, it's it summarizes the information, but when it's outputting it to a file, it creates a lot longer log. I mean, you can set it up in a way. So once we have set it up, now whenever we will be using the logger, it has to be in our resources folder, in our resources package, so it would know always knows where to look for, and it's going to be log4j.properties file. If it doesn't exist, then it's just going to use the default one, or it will use however we've programmed it. So we can either program it, or we can use the properties file to configure it. So once we've downloaded and when we configured it, then we can go ahead and use it. And again, as I was showing you, we can either use it this way, the way I'm doing it over here, create an object of it, and then we do logger dot info, and the info message is going to be create page link tested, right? So we can do this over here, something like this. If we do not want to create an object in every test, what we can do is we can create it as part of our common API, our base API, base class, or whatever the name is, and we go ahead when we create a method for the log, which is, there you go. So we create a public static logger, get logger. So this is the type of the method that we're creating, and the name of the method is get logger, and we pass a class name as an argument. So the class, we pass a class, and that's going to be class name, and inside it we just do return logger.getLogger class name. So this is where it's creating an object and returning it over here using the class name that we will be passing. So once we've created this method over here in our common API, we can go ahead and use it wherever we want, and rather than us doing this every time, we just replace this with and this with get logger and get logger dot, and we pass the the class name, which in this case is test your account menu dot class. And once we do that, and then the type of message we are sending is this one, info. Okay, so if it's gonna pass, then it's gonna do this. But instead of us writing it over here, you know where else we can put it? Inside where our assert. Again, it really depends on how you've set up your method. So I can just say if assert is true, this entire thing, and if this returns true, continuing heading. So if this is true, then do this. Isn't it a boolean? If it text contains, so it's either true or false, right? Why? Why is it so slow? Now this should be boolean. Actually, no. This is not boolean. Inside this is boolean. The insert is not boolean. It's just going to be asserting it. So how do we go about writing it with assert? What's wrong with my computer? Okay, maybe what we do is we just why? Okay, we just propose a few things. Okay, let's see if it's better now. Okay, I guess so. So, what we can do instead of us writing it over here, we can say it over here. So, get logger, and this is gonna be the class is UI create page dot class dot info. This is the type of info. This is like info message that we will be sending, and the message is assert. Is it going to be assert? No. Execute assert page method for UI create page class. It could be something like this. And we go back. Actually, rather than us going back, we just go ahead and copy this whole thing, and then we close it, and we go to our next page where we are doing this, and add it over here as well. Oh, not this one. So this is gonna be UI manage pages.class, right? So I mean, rather than me going in everyone in every class and doing it, let me just quickly show it to you how where I've done it and how that kind of works. Not this one, the Facebook login, or the post status one. This is the one, right? So yes. So this is where I am getting the get logger at every different step. When I'm creating a new instance of WebDriver, I pass the message, info message to the logger, and this is the message. And whenever I sign in, it says it's signing into Facebook. Now I can include it in my exception as well. If except for exception, if I can do catch and try, and if I were to fall back to the try one, and in the try I can do the warn thing. For me, I'm not actually doing any catch and try anywhere. I can try to do it, I guess, but let me just quickly show it to you how this thing works out. So let me see how my runner file is set up, and I only want to run this one, test post status, which is correct, and I want to run it on my local computer. Okay, so I go ahead. Okay, I'll quickly show you something else as well, which I was able to figure out because thanks to Une, because of her, I found something new while I was trying to what she wanted to do. I was trying to recreate the whole thing. I wasn't working out, and then I figured out why. I'll show you guys as well. It's pretty interesting how you may run into something like that later in whenever it's possible. So I'll share that as well with you. So let's see. So you see how it gave us the message info. This is not coming from us. So this message is actually coming from the driver. So see how everything is using logging, so one way or the other. So you see now it's giving us the log messages. It's trying to sign in. So it's created a new instance of the driver, and now it's signed in. It should give us a log here. Unfortunately, my computer is actually running really slow today. I don't know why. So signing into Facebook, and then type the message on the status bar. So you can see if I were to run different tests over here, every test would have its own log, but all of this log is also going in my log file, which I mentioned over there. So you see over here how this, including the timestamp and everything, how this is coming up over here as well. So this is how we can use logs. Any questions so far? No, I would have to create that file manually. The first time I'm gonna run it would automatically create it if it's not created. So I just have to run somewhere. I have to call this and I have to send a message, and if this file doesn't exist, it's gonna create a file and it's gonna start adding logs to it. It's actually pretty simple. It's not very hard. It's one of the easiest ones to implement in your code, and it's free, open source. So I would say it's why Mafibai wanted us to do it is probably because it's used widely, and it's kind of easier to implement as well. It's super easy to implement. You just get the Maven. You just configure it how you want to output your file, and that's it. Okay, let's do it somewhere else. Now we've already created a method in our common API where we are getting where it's returning us with a new logger, a new object of it. So we don't really need to go anywhere else and create a new logger. So let's try to do it in some other class, some other module. So maybe Best Buy. So, and even this file over here, it's part of our generic, so we don't have to worry about it, the properties file. But if there was to be a properties file inside, somewhere here, it's probably gonna take, it's gonna be it's gonna be more priority over the other one. It's gonna take precedent, and that's the one it's gonna be using rather than this one. So I'm pretty sure about that. I'm not 100% sure though. But let's go and add it to one of our tests and cell phone menu tab. All right, so okay. Let's take it one step at a time. Okay, so over here, first of all, let's say we want to add a log over here. So get logger, and we need to pass the class name. Sorry, cell phone. Info, creating new WebDriver object, and then get logger. Okay, so same test for menu.class dot info, and message is gonna be open shop menu, and what else? So from here we go into cell phones tab. Every time we go to cell phones tab, I mean, I should have done that over there as well, over here. Okay, so let's go here, and over here we say get logger and shop menu tab dot class dot info, and open cell phones tab. Okay, so now let's say over here get logger, and this is gonna be UI iPhone page dot class dot info, and get iPhone page, maybe, and assert iPhone page. Okay, so let's just quickly run this. Okay, yes, all right. One 1.6.3 for me. That's the latest, so that's the best. Oh, one thing. I don't have the properties file. Let me see. Oh, it's gonna be going in the same. Okay, I should have made it. Let me just stop it. How can I say?
Yeah, that,
Yeah.
that, that was like part of my question. I was wondering if you were to do it for a different module, would you have to change that line within your properties?
Yes. So you know what we can do? Let me see quickly. I'm just gonna close this. I think it's taking up a lot of resources. There is a way to get the module directory. Let me see if I can, use that over here somewhere. Okay, properties file, get module directory. I want to read it. Maybe this way. It's gonna be a little, tough. I mean, I just have to change my method, I think. Set property. Alright, so let's just go for, uh, one main log file for now, and then I'll change the method. I'll make it in a way that we can, create it for every different module.
And hey, Bilal, after you show us this, can you upload it the way it is right now to GitHub so I can?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Driver is not executable. Okay, I know why. Because it should be Mac. So in the background, you can see. You see how it's creating the log file over here now? And for BlackBerry as well. It's not gonna do for the rest of them, but it'll still do some part. It'll do up till this point. because we changed that method inside the method that we're calling every time. I added to that method, but not for every over here. So even for over here, open cell phones tab, and that's it. But for the iPhone, it's gonna go to and for I think one more, it's gonna show us even where we are asserting. Over there you go. So assert iPhone page. I mean, again, it's not the best way. It's not the best logging that I'm doing right now. This is the first time I'm doing logging by myself. I've seen logs, different kind of logs, in my experience. Even, I mean, there was a system that there is still a system that I use on my, day-to-day daily basis, which grabs reports from log files. That's the one for my business. Over in that software that we're using, a lot of the reports are generated based on the log file that are being, generated by the system. So the system would, generate log files over and over again. The database basically. So the database is going to be generating a lot of logs. So based on whatever the changes are coming and whatever the changes are in the system, it generates the logs. And from all these logs, this log file basically, whatever kind of log file they are generating, it grabs everything and it generates this log file. Sorry, it reports. So different kinds of reports that I see are actually coming from these log files. So I mean, they could be helpful in a number of ways, so many different ways. When a payment is being posted in my system, a log is being created and around the time and everything. So in the report, it shows me in a way that for every order, it's going to go through the log file, the entire log file, and grab that specific log, and I think it shows it. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know exactly how it works, but I know that a lot of our reports are generated from the log file. So it's really useful. So we can use it in our test as well. Also, where we're getting the exceptions, when we are not able to do it the first time, then we have to do the try and we have to catch it. If that's the case, then we can add a message over there as well. So yeah, my computer kind of just got stuck. So yeah, I was just telling that, I mean, even in my work, in my the software that we're using for my business, like we created a lot of reports based on these log files. Those log files, it's not just telling us that open, oh, this thing is open, this thing is done. I mean, a lot of changes are going into the system. A payment is received, the status of the order is changed. So that's all going in the log, and it's just grabbing, generating reports based on the log file. A lot of the reports, not all the reports, but like a lot of reports are based on these log files. So any questions? As I was also saying that we can also add it in our try and catch method. So if the try thing doesn't work and it has to go to the catch, then in the catch it's just gonna I mean when it would be catching an exception, it would it's gonna tell us, so okay, hey, I catched an exception. So instead of us adding it to the signature, we can start using try and catch, and inside the catch we can be saying a warning message. Let's say an exception was caught at that point. Yes, I'm in 1.6.3, and Paul, I'm not really sure. He kept on saying that the sooner we start, the sooner we're gonna end it, and he said that we can start at 9. I mean, I kind of remembered him, saying that we can start the class at 9. I'm not sure if we are to start the class at 9 or not, because I mean, he hasn't posted anywhere, and he's just sort of mentioned it. I think he probably himself would not remember that he wanted us to start at 9, or I mean, I don't know. Probably the class is still at 10. I was thinking about this, I had the same question in my mind as well.
So, by any chance, anybody know what kind of format is going to be used? Like any particular task we have to perform, or what's going to be?
For tomorrow, this is not the boot camp. Tomorrow is not. I think it's not the boot camp. It's going to be on Sunday. But I think tomorrow we will be presenting what we've done as part of our framework and everything, our mobile and web framework. Well, you haven't been doing the mobile, are you? Have you? Have you not?
You asking me?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I know you're kind of rebellious about it. You don't want to do it, but he kind of made it mandatory thing. He wanted everyone to, demonstrate their web and mobile platform, sorry, framework.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, as I said, I know you're brilliant. Herman, it's not that difficult. I kind of only just added a few tests, and I think I'm gonna be good. It was me and Izan, like we both kind of worked on it. He worked on a lot on the iOS, and I worked on the Android a lot. Uh, that's kind of how we did it. So I think that's it. I mean, that's what we'll be presenting. We worked really hard on our web framework, and it's more or less the same thing. It's pretty similar. Okay, let me just push the code before I close it. So okay, so oh man, I was working in master again. I keep on forgetting. I always forget to change the branch. But we're kind of done. So, I mean, there aren't a lot of changes coming in from both, me and Izwan, so we're kind of good. I can quickly show you our mobile framework. Um, it's also on GitHub. I mean, Urban, if you need any help, you can, always refer to it. I kind of restructured it. And why? Because I restructured it, I had to go back and, I had to change the path. And when I was doing the path thing, I was like, okay, I'd rather, add some parameters to it. So for my driver, I am using some parameters, as you can see over here. So these are the parameters that I'm passing. I'm even passing the app package and the app wait activity. So I can pass that as part of the capability. I can do the set capability and use that, which I am doing over here. I did it over here. It wasn't really necessary, so I kind of commented it out, but I'm still kind of passing it. But I'm using parameters for my driver now. So instead of me over here saying the app name, so I'm passing the name of the app with the extension as well. So if you take a look at my this runner file, you'll see nyp.apk. So the module name, the version, and everything. So I'm passing all these values. Go for it. Uh, you're more than welcome.
Hey, Bilal.
Yes.
One small question. So before you run the APK, do you have to start the
Server? Yes.
None. You have to start a server and you have to start VM, or it will start VM, the APK will start VM?
You have to start. So now you're considering doing it, Paul? Really?
Yeah, maybe after a couple of beers I will do it.
Okay, so basically what you need to do is you need to run Appium. Appium, you start your server. I can quickly show it to you. It should not take us long. So basically you go here. Which one you prefer on doing? The iOS or the Android?
I'm on a Mac. Faster. Which will be faster?
iOS would probably be faster.
Okay.
And Android would be I'd say try both. Whenever you get time, if not by tomorrow, maybe sometime next week, even after boot camp, if you want to take a look into it, I would highly encourage you to do it so because they're more or less the same thing. They're same, Paul. Honestly, just a few things that you need to know about it, what the difference is. I mean, in iOS, when you say click on this X path, it's just gonna scroll down and find that thing, find that web element. It's gonna click on it. But for for Android, you have to find the element after scrolling. So it would only be available to you if it's visible. So you have to make it available. We have to make it visible in order to be able to click on it. So these are the few things that I'd encourage you to look into it. That just a few differences. Other than it's almost the same. The code is same. Type by XPath. It's the same thing. We're saying AD.find element by path and then send keys, then the value. It's really 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 simple. So yes, I would highly encourage you to take a look, looking into it. Maybe you find a mobile testing job. It's the same thing. You end up maybe you're a team lead, and if you have it on your CV, you can manage people who are doing the actual coding, where you are just managing the framework, managing the test. How hard is that? How much different is that from web? Not at all. So basically, you go here. You need to make sure that you select the app. You select the app over here, and okay, let's just go for iOS. So make sure. Have you downloaded the Xcode and everything, or no? You not at all.
No. I do have Appian running, and I have no errors in the Doctor, and I just didn't bother to run application on it.
Okay, that's it. That's pretty simple. You're more than halfway there. So you select the APK, the app. Make sure you don't zip it when you download it. So by default, your Safari is going to be extracting it. So make sure you turn this option off. So when you download it, it doesn't extract the. So go in Safari and go in Preferences and uncheck this one on your journal. This option, open save files after downloading. So basically, it's gonna open all the files that it thinks are safe, including the archive. So archive is gonna unzip it. If it's a zip file, it's gonna unzip it. So we wanna keep it as zip file. So make sure that option is unchecked for you before you download this file. But if you'll be cloning the project, then go for it. I mean, it's just gonna be downloaded for you as is, so you don't have to worry about that. But so just point it towards the zip file, the app.zip file. Force the device to iPhone 6, 6s, doesn't matter platform. Make sure you have 9.3, and that's it. And then you go ahead and you launch your server. Once you launch your server, you will be able to inspect it. You will be able to grab the elements, and then you will be able to write the code accordingly. So this is me. Oh, there was an error. What was the error? Because I have selected. The reason is because I've selected the newer version. I would have to go and change it. You want to stop searching for it. Or maybe I just ran that one. I do Appian. So as long as you have the older version of Xcode installed, you would not face this problem. The reason is I have a newer version running on my machine. I have both of them, but I would have to go and switch it. So rather than me switching it, I'm just going to run it in. What's wrong? Have I moved the file? Actually, I have moved the file. Huh. Oh man, that message came up, and right when I was clicking it, oh, okay, let me just quit it. Maybe I just force quit it. Okay. He has a very simple generic. Even mine is very simple. It's just that I copied the way he was, launching his driver, creating his driver. But I have to make it more simpler as well. I'm not using real device at all. But I kind of kept that part in case I would be using a real device, or maybe I would be using this base file later. Maybe 2, 3 months, 4 months down the road, if I need it on the job, I'd keep it, as a reference point for myself. That's why I didn't remove it. So I kept it. Maybe I want to interact with real device then on the job or something like that. The reason I'm working really hard towards my framework is not for the presentation purposes. It's because this would be helpful for me down the line. If I need to refer to something, if I need something, if I need a method, whatever kind of help and assistance I need, rather than me going on to Google and searching for it, I would have it, in my pocket, in my GitHub. So rather than me going in and trying to figure out, or trying to find out on the Google, I'll just grab whatever I needed from here. So that's why I'm working really hard um, on my framework. Adding the driver factory and stuff like that. Not just for the presentation or for the boot camp, but actually preparing myself to for the job, and even past the interview. All of this they're probably not going to ask me in the interview, or anyone else, or all of us, and probably not. But maybe I may need it on the job. So that's the reason why I'm working a lot regarding this. So you start the server, and if all goes well, which it did not. Why? Could not start the requested address is not is not available. Why? Let's see. Requested address is not available. Why? I'm trying to run it on the remote machine. My bad. Let me just change that address to 27.0.1. So run on my local machine. Now what? The requested port may already be in use. Really? Really? Wow. It's just not making things easier for me. Where's the port? Where I am mentioning the port? I am mentioning the port somewhere. Pre-launch, debug. Come on. Why? I need to change the address over here. 127.2.1. So yeah, it's working here. Why isn't it working over there? Okay, let's see. See, 8.2.1, it won't work, I think so. It's gonna give us some kind of error or something. There you go. So it's because of that, but why am I not able to run appium over here in the command line? It's not running. It's not. It's not. Process viewer. Paul, are you able to run it? If you are able to run it, then I don't want to go through all of this. I probably, if I restart it, probably it's gonna work. Why? Actually, if I just remove this and use this instead. Yeah. Thank you. All right, so let's launch the inspector. So yeah, of course you are not. Really? Okay, maybe I should switch back to the older Xcode. /tools. Oh, yes, done. Okay, so let's go back here, launch the server. So yes, we have the older version now. And finally, well, Paul, are you there?
Yes,
That
yes.
was
I
a
don't
lot
want to
of work.
interrupt you. So where actually you started the application? You started from IntelliJ, you started from a doctor?
Starting from Appium at the moment, using the inspector. I'm just,
Oh,
opening it up for you. showing this how this is going to work. But once you get the code, you can grab my GitHub. From my GitHub, you can grab the code from there and play with it. And then after looking at that, you can create your own test. I'm just gonna show you how you can use the environment to open up your simulator. Once you're able to open up it from here using the inspector, you're good to go. Your tests are gonna run through.
So you start the application from inspector, right?
I launch the server, and then I click on the inspector, and I have to make sure that I'm pointing towards the right app.zip over here, the device and the platform version.
Okay. So how so I use IntelliJ just before I run the inspector, right? To create the tests.
You need to go in inspector first to be able to grab the XPath for the element you will be interacting with. And once you have the XPath, and then you can go in IntelliJ and write your test, and then you can run it after closing the simulator, stopping the server and launching it again, and then you can start your test. So this is me, I have it over here, so I can go ahead and it's going to open up the inspector in a second. Once it does it, then I can go ahead and grab the address. Once I have the address, I can go back in my IntelliJ and start writing my test. Same as we do using Firepath. So click on inspector again, and there you go. We're just getting a couple of errors because this is a bit buggy. Appium, it's a bit older. That's why.
Actually, this is the reason I didn't try to, because
But it works fine. The reason I had to do a lot of things is because I was trying to download a couple of open source apps, and I was trying to compile it. It wasn't compiling in the older version, so I thought maybe I try downloading the newer version of Xcode, and I can always switch between the Xcode versions, which I just did right now. So that wasn't the issue. So after I figured out that I can do that, I started playing around with it, and that's the reason why I had to go through all of this trouble. But if you had a straightforward setup, you don't have to worry about all of this.
Is it like UI catalog? Is it a homepage?
So this is your XPath. Yeah,
No, is it like homepage where you start?
This is your homepage. Yes. So this is your landing page. This is the page where the first page that you are presented with, and after that you can go into different menus.
Okay. So why we have so long route path already, like on the left in your doctor?
Yes, on the inspector, not the doctor. Inspector.
Right, inspector.
So this, there you go. So basically there are a couple of layers. So this is the first layer, and then the second layer, and inside one of the, so you have the status bar over there, which from where you can you do the swipe down to new 3 out of 3. Basically, how many signals you're getting, you can grab that as well. If you want to use that inside your test or whatnot. I mean, but this, you don't want to go there, right? You want to go in the actual application. So again, the easiest way on a Mac is to just click on it, and it's just going to take you to that text field. And inside that text field, inside that table cell, you have a couple of other fields. But I mean, this text field, this cell itself is a button. You click anywhere on this one, it's going to take you to that menu, to that page. So basically, you can grab you can grab this, and by doing this, not adding this thing over at the end, the number, the index. So if you do this, it's gonna be grabbing all of these for you inside one list. That's how we're doing it in our tests. So this is how we're creating the UI.
It's if you grab the array, right?
Yes, exactly. So catalog page, UI catalog, this is the main page. So using just one XPath, we are getting everything. So the first one, the second one, and the third one. So the third one is the text field, the third one is the text field kind of idea.
But do you initiate the array, or I did notice array on the top?
Oh, Here you go. That's fine.
Okay, got it. Sweet. So you work on Venus, or is it what is that? Is it? Yeah, it's also the Venus, right?
Yes, I kind of got his, and then I started working on it. On top of it, I mean, as you can see, the base method, the base class is not as long as his. He only had, but at that time he only had the drivers, and I ended up, creating all these methods myself. Even this goal keys one. But if you go and take a look at his base class, there are a lot more methods. But again, as I was telling Zahid, that he can just start off with basic his basic base class, and then just grab the elements whatever he needs. This is one of the mistakes that I made. But you can say mistake, but I mean I should have grabbed the method one by one in my other project. I just copied the entire common API class. Rather, I should have copied a method one by one as per my need. So whenever I needed a method, I should have gone to his common API. From there, I should have copied whatever I needed. Type by XPath. I mean, I'm using a lot, but I'm not using everything. So, but still, I should have grabbed it one by one, and then I should have grabbed whatever the rest are and added them at the end, kind of idea. So navigate back, navigate forward. I mean, it took after a couple of days of after copying it, and then after a couple of days, I went ahead in the class and I was like, I should study it at least. I mean, what methods are there? Because one time there was a method which I ended up creating, and something similar was already there inside this, in this class. So if had I studied this in the entire class, I would not be doing this. So I think this is the one. Is element present or not? So I mean, this was already there in his somewhere up there. I think it was there. I'm not really sure now. Maybe it was some other method. But yeah, is this best to copy method one by one so that first of all what you're copying, and secondly you know how that works. Because of these two reasons, I mean you should be doing it. So you see over here how, I mean, we're doing the try and the catch. So instead of us doing the system.println, we can replace this by the logger, the log file. So it's going to be logging it and it's going to be printing it to that console as well.
Mm-hmm.
So just quickly something came up and I thought we can relate it. So I guess that's it, guys. Any questions you have? You want me to go over something else? I mean, if you want, I can, show you how we can write another test, or maybe you guys may need some time to prepare for tomorrow. You may need to work on your own. But again, I'm available, guys. I mean, if you have any questions, hang out and just send me a message, and I can kind of try to help you out. Today, I mean, we are not a lot of people here today. It's just Zahid, Irzan, Bhai. Ahmed's here as always, Armin's here as always, MD Sarkar as always, and Paul as always. It's just, I know 5, 6 of us. If you guys have anything you want me to go over, then I can. If not, if you want to, spend this time on your own, framework, you're more than welcome. And you can always, ask for help on, on Hangout.
Yeah, if you have a second, I would like to show you one method which for some reason didn't work out for me, like if method.
Which one?
If method, if loop, not a loop, if I can show you if you can switch the screen.
Yeah. You're welcome, Harman. I mean, I'm still available. You don't need to thank me just yet.
So, where is it going from? It's going from.
That's your way of saying that be available. So I'm thanking you in advance as well.
So I have this method which is supposed to close the pop-up.
Yeah.
Common API.
Yeah.
What the heck? Where is it?
The refuse mailing list?
Right, but it should be in the common API. Where is it? It's gone. Oh, wow.
It's there on
Okay.
line 30. Yeah.
Right. So if it's not there, the test won't pass. So for example, let's go and enable it here, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's it? It's for some reason it's not importing right away.
Because you selected a lot more things than you should be.
Okay. It's drop down deals test, right?
So you don't need to select the entire thing. If if your cursor is inside it, anywhere, you don't select the entire thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just anywhere and try it. Yeah, there you go.
Wow, okay.
So
That's
much
cool.
simpler.
Drop down deals, right? We have just okay this method, and it's supposed to go over there. And here we have this method refuse from
Can I
page.
can I see your method? Refuse mailing list method. Can I take a look at it? You're in your common API. If it's displayed, then click on it. So you're saying it, I mean, if it doesn't come up and it kind of gives you an error?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does. I know. Um, if it's not displayed, I mean, it should kind of move on. Uh, I know what you're saying. It's gonna throw an exception that element's not present, right? That's what you wanted to check. I mean, if it's not available, then do nothing. Uh, Try adding else return at the end. Space, return. You don't have to, yeah, just enter. You can just close those curly brackets.
And for what?
I just delete them, yeah.
Delete them?
Yeah, you don't need that.
Oh, okay.
If there's a block, then yeah, sure. That's it. Yeah, add a breakpoint at the end. Okay. Try now. It's still gonna give that error because I don't know why it's doing it.
Wow, it's something new tonight.
Okay, so you might want to deal with that now.
And for what?
You might want to deal with that instead.
Right. Right. Every day Best Buy gets something new, like new pop-up. It's crazy. So probably I just can change the locator and so
Uh, mm, Rename this method to refuse or close welcome message. That's more appropriate. And whatever the kind of welcome message you're getting, you're kind of handling it over here. Probably the XPath is the same. I will look into this. As to why this isn't working. I know this is how you should be handling it. If it's this, or maybe that's not the way to handle it, I guess. Hmm. Okay, I'll do some research
oh,
regarding this.
I got it. Hold on.
Okay, I quickly just thought about something else I would like to share with you guys. Paul, I'm just gonna switch back to my screen. I'll look into this and I'll get back to you, okay?
Sure.
Okay, so Une wanted me to, do the post status thing for her. It was kind of difficult. It wasn't that easy. There was a reason why it was a bit difficult because the element that we were dealing with wasn't even, oh man, ah, what happened here? Yeah. Okay, I entered the old password already. So yes, update. So basically, first, this thing would not come up. So I mean, if you want to add status now, this thing pops up anyways. Second is that this is not an input field that you're dealing with. This thing over here. So it's just a div, and inside it, it kind of changes. So let's just inspect it, and you will see that this is just a div. There's no input, no nothing, right? So this is what's on your mind. So there's no input, or if I start typing, it's still not typing inside an input. You know, it's typing as part of just a span. As part of your web page. It's just modifying the code. That's it. That's what it's doing. So basically what we came up with, the solution was to first make this window available, make this available by clicking anywhere, this over here, not on any button but anywhere else other than these buttons, right? So that's gonna come up. So once this thing comes up, you see how this cursor becomes active. So basically what we did now, we did the action builder over here. So we used that. So first we clicked here, and then what we're doing is we're performing some tasks. We're using the action builder to send the keys wherever the cursor is. So wherever the cursor is, we'll be sending the keys, and that's how we were able to write some text over here. Yeah, exactly, that's what we did. Just started typing using the action builder. So I mean, I was struggling with this for I don't know why. I was kind of really tired, and I didn't realize that this is not an input box. And then when finally it hit me that okay, we're dealing with something that's not even an input box. So how can we be sending keys to it? How can we be sending keys to a div? Or how can we be sending keys to a span? Those are not the ones those are not the web elements that for which we'll be sending keys. So basically, this is what we did. We clicked on we clicked on this. We made sure that this is available anywhere. If we click on this, the cursor comes up, and we just started typing. And this is how we did it. Just something I came up with, like problems. I thought I'd share with you guys. Maybe it's gonna be useful for you somewhere down the line. So basically, did I do it inside the test? Yeah. So type post status bar. So I created a I created a method which is for which I am passing the driver as well. So I have to pass the driver because action builder requires a driver. So this is what it's actually receiving, the text and the driver that I'll be using. So new action. So first I click on it, basically make it available, and then a new actions driver dot send keys and text dot build dot perform. So that's how I'm dealing with this issue, kind of. So maybe you end up dealing with something like this. So this is how you can kind of tackle this situation. So I guess that's it, guys, for today. Don't have a lot. Now you need to action builder. You can just click equal, click, send. No, I do need action builder. So where would I be sending the keys? Like, or to what element I'll be sending the keys? So if I just want to start typing rather than so you should just click and click the send, try send keys. No, that won't work. The send keys, yeah, basically it would work on a text field, right? That way of us typing this would work on on a text field. Now, this is not a text field. That was the issue that we were facing with. So this isn't a text field. And again, what you were saying, so we use send keys. For that, we need to, mention some kind of, some web element to which we will be sending the keys to. We want to send keys to this button. I mean, it's not gonna, accept it, but this web element can only accept clicking on it, or maybe, grabbing the text, get text from it, but definitely not send keys to this. That won't work. So for this, I mean, we were doing it and it wasn't working. So basically, that's why we ended up using the action builder. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, you never know. Really depends. I mean, if they're using it this way, then it's possible that, I mean, you will end up seeing a lot of other websites using the same, technique, same method that they're using. Instead of, try this, what? I am waiting. Try it. Use Selenium key in the same path. Nope, that won't work. That won't work at all. So basically, again, this thing over here, let me show you. So first of all, this is not available over here. So this, first of all, we need to click here and we get the div. So we can't send keys to div. We can't send keys to span. I mean, send keys, the way that you're referring to has to be done to a text field. For example, uh, uh, this one, this one. This is a text field. Input. So this is the input type. So it has to be something like this. So yeah, this is not, an input element. So that's why we can't send the send keys to this XPath, to any XPath over here. You can go ahead and you can try it yourself as well. I guess finally you'll be settling to the same thing that we did, Action Builder. But if you do find something out, I'd be I'll be open to it, definitely. I would want to know, definitely. But this is what I came up with, and I thought, okay, so I mean, this is how we can work with it. There may be other websites where you may encounter something like this, where there is no input box, but you're still typing something. Um, those editors and stuff like that. I think so. What do you do? Google Docs, right? Docs dot Google. Yeah, I think. I mean, if you're doing some editing over here, let's say you start a document. I mean, even they're not using, probably not. This is not an input box of it. This is not of type input, right? So, oh man. So I go here. Show inspector. So yeah, so there you go. So you see their div. Yep. So you kind of have to use action builder over here as well. So there's just span, all these span. That's it. So no input whatsoever, nowhere, as you can see. Keys without the unexpired. No, you can't do it like that. So I mean, if you were to do it like that way, you would still be sending the keys to that same XPath, which is still not the input type. So if you were to send keys to something which is not of input type, in that case you'll have to use a action builder. That's what I found out. So sending keys to an XPath would work on on input boxes, on an element on a web element that is of input type, basically. So yeah, I thought I'd share with you guys. Um, thank you. Anyone else, guys? Do you have anything you want me to go over, or do you have anything to share? You have anything to add?
So Bilal, I'm sorry, you said you're gonna take a look at this Best Buy pop-up.
I
So
will.
the better.
I'll take a look into this as to how you can use if certain element is visible, then deal with it. If it's not visible, just ignore it. That's what you want to do, right?
Yeah, I guess it's most of the pop-ups they work this way. You can deal with most of the pop-ups this way.
I mean, it didn't work out for me as well when I was, refusing the warranty on Amazon, when I was trying something. So that's how I know this would not work for you the way you were doing it, because I did it the same way. It didn't work for me. So I did it exactly same way. If it's displayed, then click on this. If it's not displayed, then carry on. But it would kept on throwing exception.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of removed that test, that the TV from my data, just for just to get it working. But thank you for reminding me. I'm just gonna take a look at it. I want to have something like this as part of my common API as well. Again, for future I may need it someday. So I'm gonna definitely take a look into it as to how we can deal with this kind of thing.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Key down, keys return, key up. Yeah, exactly. Okay, you have. Okay, yeah, sure, Ahmed.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm pretty good. How about you?
I'm good. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
That's great. Um, so I'm struggling with my drop down, and here is the page factory of drop down.
Okay.
And let me show you the exact web page, what I'm trying to do. So here's the main application I'm working on,
Okay.
Indeed.com. So
Mhm.
I'm trying to do from the home page, because homepage doesn't have any drop down. So I'm
Okay.
trying to make the script like it's gonna click on the advanced job search, and this
Okay.
page has a lot of drop down options. So try
Yes.
to make a method which is gonna like take all the options
Mm-hmm.
from, and also some other like drop downs, and this is gonna store it like in a certain variable and loop like and it's gonna try every single like options and click the submit button, go to the next page, and it's gonna navigate back and try the next item also, like it's gonna run through the loop.
So
So
for that,
so
you
far
can either, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
oh sorry so far I was able to get all the elements, like all the members of the option.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to print it out in the console, but I don't know how to utilize those values and put it here like in every iteration. It's gonna use all the different values and select it and go to the next level and navigate back, like trying to make it dynamic because
So there are a number of ways how you can perform this. If you want to navigate back, that's one way of doing about it. You just do the driver dot, navigate back. We have a method inside the common API, the one that Mafi Bhai, gave us.
let me share so far what I did. Like this is the all the locators in the page factory, and I created this method like advanced search for, and it's gonna take the value here. So I will provide it like ID name, because I found out like all the different drop down has a different ID name. So
Yes.
it's gonna take the input parameter through this, and hold on. No, sorry. This is the method. Yes, get job type. Then this is gonna take the ID name and it's gonna like hook it up inside. And yeah, like sorry, I made like so many.
So, okay. First of all, I'd recommend you not creating a method over here. Rather, you create a method inside your common API where you will be handling any kind of drop down. Any
Okay.
kind of drop down.
Okay.
So you just send the address for that drop down. You send it send the XPath. Select drop down by XPath. You can say that. Select drop down by CSS. You can say that, and you call that method from there and just pass the value, and it should select it. So can I share something with you how I've dealt with this problem?
Sure, absolutely.
So I have done something in Amazon regarding this.
Mhm.
Let me quickly share that with you. So again, as I was saying, there are a number of ways how you can deal with it. You can go, I mean, you can go through it and you can navigate back and go search again. I would not recommend coming back, going back to the doing the navigate back unless really necessary, because you'll be sending the data again. I mean, rather, what you do, you start the test again. So you make one test about one drop down menu, and then you have another test regarding the other drop down menu.
Okay.
Again, there are a number of ways how you can pass that data over there. For me, I am passing that data. Let me see, was it in this file? So again, you can use data provider annotation. You can grab it from here. Nonetheless, you will have to, so there you go. So this is the department. So this is the ID. So search dash alias electronics. So search that alias, electronics. So this is how in Amazon I was able to grab it. So if I want to go, I mean, if you're able to grab those, you would kind of have to hard code it.
Okay.
Same way you do the XPath, where you create your page factory. So as part of your page factory, what you can do is you can, add those drop downs and you can hard code it. Or, you can create an Excel file and, you can pass that Excel file, you can get the data from there. The reason is because those options would not be changing. I mean, it's not like they're going to be changing every month, every 6 months, or even every year. Probably those options are going to be there kind of forever, for a very long time, right? So they're probably not going to change. So you can kind of hard code them somewhere here. And how I was able to, go through different department. Let's see, let me show you. So I am doing search using items. Search, let's do this. So basically, this is how I am running the loop. And inside the loop, I am calling this method. So search drop down select option. So and for the department and I. So basically department is this one. This select this as the value. So this is the method from my common API.
Okay.
Common methods of that one. Actually, this should have been, yeah, okay. So I have another one to select drop down by value by XPath. So inside my common methods for my Amazon, I've created a method which is using that method, and I'm hard coding the XPath over here. So basically, in my common API, I have this method, this one over here, select drop down by XPath, where I'm doing select drop down and then new select driver dot find this, and drop down dot select by value and visible text, right? So visible text is basically this one, the one that's coming from here. I mean, I kind of changed it from visible text to XPath. I forgot to change this name. Actually, let me just quickly.
I have another idea. Like, if I could save the all, because main issue is validate the options and their names. Because as a tester, we're supposed to test the options, name, and everything, right? Like,
Yes.
is it in the right place and right spelling or not? So I can do one thing. Like, I can keep a column in Excel. What is expected and what is
Yes.
actual I'm getting from the loop, so I can compare and assert. whether it's like passing the test or not, so we'll be able to compare. That's the main focus,
Again, the reason I was showing you how I have done it so that you can, get an idea and, implement it the way you want to do it in your test. So, I mean, I'm passing those values as part of my Excel. The data I'm sending that data from Excel. So yes, exactly. You can, just keep it, a column over there. Either you can do that or you can use the data provider annotation. I haven't used data provider in my, anywhere for my module. Izan bhai, have you done it? I'm not sure if he did it somewhere in his, either MailChimp or Yahoo. But again, we could have used data provider as well, and using the data provider we could have sent the data. Now if we are to use data provider right above the test, it's gonna iterate, it's gonna run the test as many times the data is being provided to it.
Okay.
So have you used data provider?
Data provider,
No,
yes,
right?
not
Not
yet.
really.
Yeah, but for
Yeah.
different tests I used it. Yeah.
So basically, if you are to, provide data provider use data provider over here, and in the data provider, let's say you provide, data for search, and this is the method, and then you create the method over here somewhere down there, and in the method you are, this is basically public string data for
This is gonna
search.
be the test class, or you're just showing it here?
Just showing you, I mean, how
Oh,
this can be done.
okay.
So this can be of string type, and over here you can say return um
Something like
return. How can I just return array? Can I just do it like this? Do
or
this.
anything.
Let's see, ABC. No. So basically, I'll have to create a list.
I think if you open the Yahoo, it's there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. But Izanbi, this is how it's done, right?
Yeah, I just pasted the code in the chat.
You did?
In the chat, yeah. Thank you, Isram bhai.
No
So
problem.
basically, so for the test you will say data provider. Okay, yeah. So, but even over here you have to kind of do this. Izanbi, this is, I mean, I'm doing it right way. Is this correct way to do it?
Yeah, you exactly. Yeah, but
Right?
it should return type should be like this.
Return type should be array as well.
Object to dimension array.
Exactly. Yes. So I was gonna do that, but yeah. So, but Emmett, you got the idea, right?
Yes, yes.
So if you are to provide me as many items are gonna be there, and wherever you will be using the data inside it, so that many times the test is gonna run.
Okay, great.
So that is another way of you handling the drop down and going through the the values one by one.
Okay.
So again, there are a number of ways. I'm doing it inside a loop, but still I'm getting the data from Excel.
Okay. Thank you.
I mean, if you are not to use the loop, you can use the data provider. The data provider will run the test over and over again, as many items are going to be there inside the data provider.
Okay, great.
And also, again, I'd recommend the way, you have a drop down over here in your common methods for that module, right? Now, inside that, you use another method which is coming from your common API, the same way I'm doing over here, but over there you hardcode your your XPath or whatever, however you're using it. But this method can be used anywhere in other modules as well.
Yes, because it's in common method, right?
In common API, yes.
Common API, okay.
Right?
Yes.
So I mean, just an idea. I mean, so this is going to be, kind of, you can use it anywhere else as well.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is specifically for this module only, and for specific page. So this is only for the home page or the common methods, because it's in common method, because for me, it's part of global, global bar. So I would have to change it from I would want to be able to change it from anywhere.
Okay.
Because it shows up everywhere. On every page, the top bar shows up. So that's why I kept it over here in my common methods for Amazon.
And you hard-coded the locator, right?
Locator, because again, it's everywhere. It's on every page. That's why. So Amazon.ca. So basically, no matter where I go, this top bar is still gonna be there. So this drop down is still gonna be there, and the locator for this is gonna be the same for on every page. So that's why I'm keeping it in my common methods.
Oh, that makes sense.
I mean, I'm showing you so that you kind of get an idea. You see, and I'm going to another page. It's still there.
It's almost similar, like, but this has like a type in option, but the drop down I'm dealing with has only the options.
Yeah, so basically you can keep in that page's UI. So wherever you're creating the UI for that page, you can create a method which is for the drop to change the drop down for that specific locator, and which can be using the method from your common API for changing the value of the drop down.
Okay.
I hope I'm not kind of confusing you. Did you get what
Yeah.
you understood what I was trying to explain, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great, great. Guys,
Thank you.
anyone, and you're welcome, welcome, anytime. Anyone else, guys, have any questions? No? That's it? I guess, guys, I'll let you be. And whoever hasn't been able to complete their, their work regarding the mobile and your web framework, I hope you guys are able to do it by tomorrow because I mean he would want to look at it. If you're able to successfully, you're able to display everything. He's gonna send your name. Do you have problem with the internet on AVD? Sometimes, yes. Sometimes the news wouldn't load up, but not always. Most of the times it does load up, but I don't know why. But yeah, sometimes it's just gives me an error. It's not able to load the news. I mean connection error or something like that. It does. The news wouldn't load up. Yeah, it happens. But again, not always. Switch between the menus, and it should load up. Hmm. Uh, Did you try, moving in between different menus? I mean, it kind of should work. It's not like that. It's just that just one time it wouldn't load. I mean, if I were to try to load the new, if it's gonna load the app, it wouldn't load the top news. But if I were to switch between the, different sections, it would come up, kind of idea. You know, okay, that's fine. Okay. Uh, huh. Okay. Uh, is this your own, your actual account, your own account? Okay, first of all, these APKs, I would recommend you putting in your actual credentials. How I don't know how they would have, packed it. They usually, kind of crack it and something like that. So I would not recommend you putting in your actual username and password over there. Just saying. But I know, click on forgot password. Try logging in some other, try opening some other page, something like that, and make sure the internet is actually working and there is, yeah, doesn't matter. Yeah, maybe close it. Just open that app. Okay, and say, yeah, go to sign in. Maybe actually no, go back. Actually, try clicking on join now. So it is working. I mean, if the password was incorrect, then yeah, it is working, right? But maybe there's something wrong with the APK. Maybe, I mean, that could be possible. I don't see it's because of the internet. There's some other issue here. You wanna, cancel this? Click on the back sign and click on join now, and open up cookie policy perhaps, or the user agreement, or one of these links. There you go. There you go. It's working. So it has nothing to do with the internet. You're getting internet, but maybe there's something wrong with APK. Maybe try downloading it from somewhere else. Maybe a different version. Try downloading the latest version or something like that. Maybe. Another thing, I was trying to, okay, you were able to run this app. It's pretty good. But I was trying to, use Facebook, and then I was trying to use Instagram. Those apps, they're designed it in a way that they wouldn't run on emulator. That's how they've done it. I don't know how. It has something to do with the CPU type. So it kind of detects that I'm trying to run it on an emulator, so they won't open up. So maybe it is possible that the package, I mean, there are different packages inside it. So the one that, where we launch activity, wait for activity, stuff like that. So there are different activities inside it, the login activity and stuff like that. Maybe you're able to get to this part, but you aren't able to, launch the other ones, the other activities. Maybe they restricted it in a way. Perhaps. I mean, I could be wrong, but this was something that I kind of faced, and I wasn't able to run anything regarding Facebook or anything. I wasn't able to install it even. It was such a hassle that day. I mean, I spent such long time trying to, I just wanted to, do something other than that news app. I wanted to, yeah, specifically the login thing. I wanted to do something regarding the login, the different scenarios of login on the Amazon or perhaps one of these apps. I have a iPhone app, but I don't. Yeah, even the iPhone apps, if you can kind of download it, but it probably wouldn't run. That's another issue with that as well. I haven't been able to look into it myself. I guess it's just itself like a huge topic, you know. I already spent such a long time that day trying to find open source apps, compile it and run it. That wasn't working out. I mean, there was a lot of things. There was a lot of things. And that was such a big struggle. I like the way how you've arranged your desktop. Created a wallpaper where yeah, I really like it. It's a really neat idea. How you've kind of arranged it, important work, computer programs. I like it. It's really nice. Yeah, right, Zayed? It's pretty nice, man. I like it. I never seen anyone do it like this. But yeah, I guess stick with the ones that you're able to do, because you're kind of short on time right now. You just want to get it done. Even that's gonna take some time. Um, even the news, the New York Post one, it's gonna take some time at least. So, try perhaps that. I mean, stick with the one that we know that they're working, either Grubhub or that. I ended up downloading Grubhub. I thought, okay, fine, I'll just deal with that. Because it was just such big hassle, running apps on these ones. Because these are like cracked apps that we're trying to, download and run and stuff like that. I mean, in real life, we would have actually, access to the actual code. We would be compiling the code, and I mean, we would have our company's digital signature on it, and we would able to run it 100%. Running it on the emulator would not be an issue, or even device. Are you able to, okay, you have iPhone, so you wouldn't be able to do it on. So yeah, I see it's the internet is working. Oh, so you downloaded it from there? That's what you're saying? Oh, so you downloaded it from the Play Store? Oh, no, no, no. So you still you have the APK, right? Yeah, yeah. You're going to, but you still need to have the APK. When you will be passing it as part of your test, you need to tell, okay, this is the one that I want to pass. I want it to run. You can't just, maybe you can. Maybe there's a way to run an app which is part of which is already on emulator. But yeah, over here. So, okay, so you're saying that you'll use this one, but yeah, but that's not working. That's the thing. So, I mean, you won't be able to sign in using, yes, you would be able to sign in, grab the elements and everything using if you downloaded it from the Play Store, it may work, but the APK wouldn't work then. So your tests are just gonna keep on failing. So that's gonna be, you'll end up spending a lot of time, a lot of effort, and eventually your tests are just gonna fail. No? So I guess, you got the test to work? So I mean, if you're able to run, well, no, but if how can you get it to work if you're not able to sign in? So if you're saying that if you run it from IntelliJ, it signs you in, does it? Right, exactly. So maybe you download, maybe you can download exactly, that's the thing what I'm saying. So you download it from Play Store and you're able to grab the elements, you're able to sign in and you write all the tests. What's the point of writing all the tests and doing all the effort when you're gonna run the app and run it using this APK? It's just gonna fail. Try downloading some other app, from some other source, some other version perhaps, and see if that may work. They're just mirrors. No, if you've already downloaded from here, no point. Download it from somewhere else. So I mean that is just mirrors. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Try downloading an older app or the newest one if you haven't tried so. I mean, maybe that's the issue. I think the one that you're using is 4.1.7, right? So this is the newer one. So maybe you can try this one. Um, but yeah, answer to your question. It's not related to your internet. Your computer seems really fast, and you're still using Windows 7. Respect, bro. So you have a really fast computer, and you decide to stay on Windows 7. Is that what it is? 12 gig? Wow, and 3. Oh, that is nice, man. i7. Way to go, man. So you're gonna show off a bit of your GPU as well. You're gonna show us the kind of GPU you got, huh? He's like, yeah, I want to. Just hold on. Let me show you what I got. You have SSD as well? Oh, so you got a Samsung SSD. That's nice, man. That's pretty good, man. You know, I'd stick to Windows 7 myself. I have a laptop. I recently bought it for this course. The Windows machine, the other machine that I have. It has SSD. It has 8 gig of RAM. It's a decent, i5. It's not bad, but it's got yeah, man. I just saw it's got 1 TB of SSD. Okay, you got two G. Oh, nice, man. You got two GTX, and those are 460. That's pretty nice, man. That's really good, man. I like it. Yeah, I know. They're pretty decent, man. That's okay. I mean, they're not too old. Maybe like what, a year and a half? Not more than 2 years old. Still, that's really good, man. GPUs, they have a longer life, I think. Considering you've got SSD now and you got to at least 12 gig of RAM. I mean, this is a really good PC, man. Respect, bro. I like it. Anyways, guys, let's just close the session now. You guys can go ahead and work on your modules. Again, we're all kind of here and we're still kind of working on it. I think, if anyone has any questions, they can ask in Hangout, and if I'm not there, someone else is there. We
Wait,
can
wait,
try to.
wait.
Yes, yes, Paul.
I'm trying to create Android 4.
Yeah.
So, and I did downloaded Google API for Android 4. What else should I have? Because I have a error saying your CPU is not available for this configuration.
Okay. Where are you? Okay, there you
Is it,
are.
is it, are you back on your computer? No, it's not on your computer yet.
Okay, so API level 19, Nexus 4. Yeah, so go into Target and no, this is really old. 5.0.1. Go for that one. And yeah, that's the one.
Okay, got it.
All right.
Yep, thank you.
You're welcome.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, guys. I think that's it for today. Not sure if we're gonna have any more mentoring sessions. Um, if anyone needs any help, we all are available on Hangout. We'll try to, help each other out as much as we can to the best of our knowledge. And again, good luck to everyone, including me, for tomorrow and day after tomorrow for the presentation and for the boot camp. Again, we're all available for each other. If anyone has any questions, they can, get in touch with each other on Hangout. If you guys have nothing else,